channel. Today is Friday, the 8th of March, and I'm Kathleen, and this is Kathleen's Trodden Trail. And I'm here today to talk to you a little bit about the stitching that I've done this week. Actually, the last 2 weeks, because I think it's been about 2 weeks since I last did a video. Not a lot of life updates. Father-in-law's doing a little bit better. Husband is traveling, which he always does once basketball season ends. Then he starts doing a lot of traveling for work. So he's actually in Utah on a ski trip. And both Ryan and Maddie are coming home today for their spring break. So very excited about that, and thought I would shoot a video while Maddie was in the process of driving home from Sioux Falls because yeah, I'm always a little bit nervous, and we got another 6 inches yesterday. We have so much snow, so many icicles. But on the bright side, it is warming up. So where over the weekend, I think on Saturday, our high was like 1 above 0, and our low was like 12 below. Today, our high is 34, and yesterday and Tuesday, we got to 32. Or yesterday may have been not quite that warm. I didn't go out except for to shovel yesterday, but on Tuesday or on Wednesday, it was like 32, 33, and went to Ash Wednesday services and out to dinner with a friend, and it was just, it felt balmy. I had a vest on and a flannel shirt, and it was perfect. Didn't even wear a coat, which was kind of amazing. So spring is on the horizon. I think we can kind of see some signs of spring, and so hoping. Okay, I'm gonna try to do this in one video, no more than 2. I know I always say that. I have 3 FFOs and then 3 projects to show you, and that's pretty much all I've worked on. I've worked on some hand applique, some wool hand applique. I've worked on a little bit of piecing of a small quilt. And I have a picture which I'll insert here of where I hung the big Live Laugh Love quilt, wool quilt, how I hung it and displayed it, and I'm pretty happy with how that turned out. So I'll insert that picture here. I decorated for spring on Saturday. On Saturday we got 5 inches, I think, 4 or 5 inches. It snowed pretty much all day. And I can honestly say that is the first time I've ever decorated for spring and had it be snowing outside. So, you know, it can snow here in March and April, and when you're, I think we had a little bit of snow in May. 2 years ago on May 1st, or it might have been 3 years ago now, on May 1st, my friend Gail and I went for a walk, and it was 102 degrees on May 1st. And so it's just, you know, just like everywhere, the weather is, it's pretty crazy. Okay, so 3 finishes, 3 FFOs, and the first one is Spring Bunny with Flowers, and this is a free Snowflower Diary chart. So this is how I finished it. I used, in fact, as a matter of fact, I used flosses up here that came in a packet from a magazine like Just Cross Stitch, or one of the magazines where they sometimes give you a project with the flosses in a little envelope with the magazine when you get the magazine at Barnes & Noble. And these are flosses from that, you know, the leftover flosses from that card. And they're a little too pink for me, but I just thought, you know what, I'm gonna use them up. I really needed spring when I did this. I added a little bit of chocolate fabric around the outside to match the bunny. I actually had cut this about, I think I cut it originally 2.5 inches wide, and it was too much. It was too overpowering, so I trimmed it way down, and I like how that turned out. It looks more like a trim than a border. And then this is the fabric, a little bit of polka on the back, and then I cut out a little flower and added a Just Button Company button. And yeah, happy with how that turned out. I have this in my little shadow box display that's by the front door. The next one I finished was, I think this is called Bunny Love, or Spring Bunny Love, or Bunny Love, also a free chart from Snowflower Diaries. And I tried this several different ways. I originally was gonna stuff it and try to make it kind of like a stuffed egg. And I didn't cut, I wasn't thinking when I cut the top, I cut the top to match the bottom, and that's not how an egg is shaped. An egg is more narrow at the top. So when I stuffed it, it just gave it a kind of a funny oblong shape, and it wasn't gonna be able to stand up. So then I thought maybe I would try to make the middle part a little bit, you know, kind of stand out a little bit more. So I put several layers of batting in there, but apparently not enough because you can't really see it. So what I ended up doing was just cutting a piece of sticky board, putting fabric on the back of that. This is a new piece of fabric that I bought for some spring quilting that I want to do. And then on Daylene's video, when Daylene is so grateful, so S-E-W, grateful. If you haven't checked her out, please do. She's awesome. Oh my goodness, she has such a zest for life. It is, she's pretty cool. But she talked about this YouTube tutorial that showed how to make these fork pleats. And so I watched the video and cut some fabric and made, you know, just pleated it up and then glued it to the sticky board, hot glued it to the sticky board, and then hot glued this down on top of it and added a little bow. And I know if Julie is watching this, she's cringing because she hates hot glue with, you know, with cross stitch. It's probably not acid free, and it's probably not, you know, heirloom quality, but this is not an heirloom. It's just not an heirloom piece. I mean, it was a quickie. It was a quickie, again, using flosses that I just had on hand. I don't even know what I used. Not to mention there's batting in between, batting and fabric in between the cross stitch and the hot glue. So no hot glue touches the cross stitch. If I want to at some point in time, I would be able to take this apart and redo it. So yeah. So then that also sits in that same shadow box. There's one kind of big square, and I never have anything that sits in there very well, and that sits in there really nicely. And then when I went to Stitch Away in January in Ohio, Cecilia Turner was the sort of designer on parade, or the featured designer at Stitch Away, and they had, I don't know, Barbara must have had 12 or 15 different trunk shows there at Stitch Away in the little kind of setup shop that they had. But Cecilia Turner was actually there, and she had a trunk show, and I saw these Leggy Birds. They're called, oh, and I took the chart upstairs, but they come in just a little small chart, cardboard, you know, trifold chart. And I think might be one for every month, but there's one for every season. And I had never seen them before. And so I was talking to Nicole and several of the other ladies, and they're like, "You've never seen Leggy Birds before?" Oh yeah, they're really cute. And so I got spring, and why I didn't get summer, winter, and fall, I don't know. I actually ran to 1 2 3 Stitch yesterday, ran to 1 2 3 Stitch on my computer yesterday, and they're out of autumn, but I would like to order winter and summer. And anyway, I did none of the called for colors. Again, I just used colors that I had on hand, and here's nice glare, spring. This is called, I think it's called Wee One, and it's Leggy Bird for spring. And cute as can be, just cute as can be. I used a very variegated gold for the egg, and a variegated brown and kind of peachy color for the nest, and a variegated for the outside. I sort of wish I had done the bird in a lighter gray, but I wanted a gray bird, and that's just kind of what came up and what I had on hand, and I used it, and it was just a DMC. So anyway, and I put this in a cheap frame that I got at Walmart or Michael's or someplace like that, and I just kind of had it on hand, and yeah, I think that looks really cute. I really was very happy with that. So other than that, my cat just sat on my wood pile here. What I have been working on, I have been working on Pink House Sampler, which is Plum Street Sampler. And Carol, Saltbuck Stitcher, just finished this. She was my inspiration for doing this, and hers is absolutely gorgeous. And so I do have some progress on Pink House, and it's big, but here's my kind of start on Pink House. And I think last time you saw it, I probably had the windows in, maybe not quite so much of the grass and the letters. I got a little bit more of the border in, and then finished off that kind of, I don't know what that tree is supposed to be, a cherry tree or an apple tree or what that's supposed to be, but anyway, so Maddie left at 1 o'clock about 30 minutes ago, and she should pull in a little bit before 4. So as soon as I'm done and I get this uploaded, I'm planning to work some more. I started, there's a big tulip here, and I'm gonna do that this afternoon. Pink and red tulip. So that's what I'll work on while I'm waiting on Maddie. And then cause you know, Stitch 9 challenge, out the door. Don't buy anything new, only work on things that I have, out the door. Yeah, watching the market videos. Oh my goodness. I will say though, I pre-ordered quite a few things from Julie. Julie did a lot of sneak peeks of things that were going to be coming out at market, and I pre-ordered those, and hopefully it'll clear up and I'll be able to go pick those up. But I watched Pam and Steph the other night, and Steph had her haul from market, her personal haul from market, and she was like, get a piece of paper and a pencil and write down these things because you're going to love it. The dog's playing with a giant rubber bone, and he's entertaining himself by throwing the bone and then picking it up and bringing it to me. Anyway, Steph got great stuff, but I either had pre-ordered some of the stuff that she showed already, or it wasn't anything I was necessarily interested in, and I only wrote down 2 things, so I was happy with that. Anyway, I had this itch. I had an itch to start a long dog sampler. And I mentioned it one day to Dory about a month ago, and then I had to order some thread at 123 Stitch for something on like a snow day where I couldn't get out to Julie's, and I knew I could order and have it in just a few days. And while I was at 123 Stitch, I just put long dog samplers in the search bar. And I was very interested in Pilgrim. I think it's called Pilgrims. I really, really like that one. It's quite a bit bigger. But I came across this one, and it's called Words Alone. And it looks like this, and it's, looks like it's maybe done in black work on here, but you could do it kind of in any way that you wanted to do it. So I took it in when I was able to get out to Julie's. I took it in, and we talked and thought and decided that I was going to do this part that's a little more intensive stitching in one color and do the rest in something coordinating. And so what I ended up picking up was, for the left-hand side, I'm using Carrie's Creations silk, and this is just called Green. Just green. I don't know if you can see that, how well you can kind of see that. It's a real muted, it's not showing up very well at all. It's a very, very muted green, more of a blue-green. And then, quite a bit more of a blue-green. And then for the right-hand side, I'm using Carrie's Creation, and I'll unravel this, maybe you'll be able to see it a little bit better, Stormy Sea. And it's a blue-green, much more of a variegated, and so that's going to be all of the motifs over here. And it's kind of a like, let's try it out and see how it works kind of thing. Okay, I'm at 15 minutes.